everybody, welcome back to my channel and happy Halloween and spooky season. Woo. Today we are doing a collaboration that was hosted by the Sisketears, Mary and Tony. This is another one of their amazing swaps that they do, which we all know are always amazing, but this is another one of their amazing ones. And this one is their annual pumpkin carving collaboration. Now, a lot of the pumpkin carving collaborations that you see consist of like lives that you go to and people are carving their pumpkins while you're on a live and you're chit-chatting. This one's a little bit different. Everybody is doing their pumpkin, they're recording it, and then we're sharing them all on the same day. There are actually quite a few participants in this collab, so please make sure to go down below and see what everybody else created. I went with a theme for my pumpkin this year, and I did it a little bit different. I didn't really do a jack-o'-lantern, but I did carve and I did paint my pumpkin, and I did get a pumpkin. So, in this video, I'm going to show you how I took this and this and these to make my final project. And I have to say, I'm very, very happy with how my final project came out. I'm super proud of this one. So, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into that video now. See, here we go.
We're going to start by cutting off the top of our pumpkin with a hacksaw, which my husband said would be the best way to try to get a straight cut on it. It was actually more difficult. I think it would have been easier just to go ahead and use the regular kitchen knife. But before I did this, I did take the pumpkin and I spray painted it with a black primer in order to get that black pumpkin that I wanted. And I have this video sped up like 500 times. So while it looks like that hacksaw is going pretty fast, it actually is not. It was actually pretty difficult to especially get it started. And then I found that if I used the knife to kind of cut a little bit of an edge into it, that it did help a little bit. To keep the hacksaw on the line that I wanted to keep it on. And you're not going to need to keep your lid for this. I went ahead and just threw the top of my pumpkin away because I did not need it. Here I am going ahead and cutting out that little piece that was jagged, and I'm now wiping off all of the dust from cutting the actual pumpkin and lining it all up. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and paint these white lines down the sides of the pumpkin. And I am trying to get them as straight as I can, but I'm not too awful worried about how straight they are because I like a little bit of imperfection, especially when I am doing a craft project, because I think that makes it look more handmade. You're not going to get those perfect lines that you would get it with a factory-made item as you do when you do a homemade craft. But you may be starting to see where I'm going with this now. So take your guesses. Let me know down below, what do you think this pumpkin is going to end up being? Give me your best guesses and we'll see how many of you are right. Put the time of the video in your answer. I want to know that you didn't cheat and look at the end of the video. And this process took me about 4 hours to get from start to finish of the pumpkin. So what you're seeing is a very sped up process here of getting all of my stripes on, getting them all painted. I got ready to say precisely, but it's not really a precise project, as I said before, but I didn't want there to be lighter spots where there was less paint in some areas and there were others. So I was trying to at least make sure that the white was white and you weren't seeing a lot of the black through the stripes that were going to be around the pumpkin. And considering that I'm freehanding it all, I don't think that I did too bad with getting it lined up. There you saw me take the foam piece that I had purchased for the inside because I wanted to see if it was going to fill it the way that I needed it to, and it doesn't. So I end up having to play with it later, and you will see me trying to get that to sit in there in a way that it's going to hold the flowers that I'm putting in it up without it twisting around and being wobbly. So you will see that later. But as we continue to paint these lines, what I kept forgetting is that I had wet paint on the bottom of my pumpkin, and I would lay the pumpkin down like this, and then I would pick the pumpkin up, and there would be paint on the side of the pumpkin from the bottom of the pumpkin being laid down on it. On my, see, there I am wiping it off. Guys, if you know of a better way to do this, please let me know, because I thought about trying to take a ruler and, actually measure out all of these lines, but with the grooves in the pumpkin, I just decided that was going to be so much harder than just trying to freehand it. And again, I think that the lines turned out pretty good, I think, considering I just freehanded it all. And then I did go back over it a little bit with some black paint, which you will also see here. And you see me taking off all that extra paint that I had gotten on there, and then I proceed to put it right back on with the towel that I used to wipe it off with. And if this is 500 times what I originally was doing this at, you can imagine how long this process took me. I'm excited to see how many of you figure out what this is going to end up being. We're almost done with our lines here. And as you can see on the bottom of the pumpkin, they are far from precise. You can see how some of them are overlapping each other there and others are not. And my paint is an off-white paint. It's not a bright white. It's kind of an antique white, I guess you would call it. I thought that would work best for the theme that I'm going with. And as I said before, here we are just covering up those spaces where I didn't quite get enough paint in the areas, and I just want them to look cohesive and not where some of the black is showing through. And I disappear here. Don't ask me where I went, because for the life of me, I cannot remember. where I went or why, but I took my paintbrush with me, so I must have been doing something with my paintbrush. I just don't have a clue what that was, to be honest with you. Not even half of a clue. This part here is sped up 850 times what it should be at. And I don't know if you saw it there, but I continuously was dropping paint on myself there. I don't know why, but I was. Now here is where we just touch up that white paint with some black to make sure that our lines are somewhat straight. Now we're going to stuff the inside of the pumpkin, and the reason that I'm stuffing it is because that ball, that styrofoam, is not fitting in there good enough. So I'm trying to make sure that the styrofoam is sticking out some so that I have the top of the ball outside of the pumpkin, so I have something to put the flowers into and allow them to be arranged precisely. So what you're seeing here is me trying to get this ball to sit in here sturdy enough. I am cutting up this additional styrofoam in order to make it sit in there a little bit better. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to take some glue and just kind of paint the top of the ball and the styrofoam there in order to put some moss on it to cover up the styrofoam on the inside in case, you can see through the flowers some. I wasn't sure how full the flowers were going to be. I did get a lot of flowers. And by the way, guys, this is my first time ever making a flower arrangement. I've never done this before. This is all new to me. Hello, the price of just one stem of a fake flower, $10, you guys, for just one stem. I was floored at how much it cost to get flowers. Luckily, I got mine at 40% off and some of them at 50 or 60% off. But I mean, I could not believe how much it cost for one stem of flowers. It still boggles my mind at how much that they cost. And I went to Hobby Lobby and I went to Michael's. I ended up having to go to Michael's because I completely forgot that Hobby Lobby doesn't do Halloween. Completely forgot. So I kept searching all over Hobby Lobby for anything that was black and could find nothing. I mean, they make sure you can't do Halloween from there because there was nothing black in their floral area at all. And you would think that some people might want to do a black and white arrangement at other times of the year, but they were making sure that you could get nothing black. So I ended up having to go to Michael's to get my flowers, and even they were very picked over already. I was in Michael's for probably 2 hours trying to find flowers that would work for what I wanted to do here. And also, folks, getting those flower picks into the styrofoam was a chore. I mean, a big chore. It was not easy in the least bit. I actually had, by the time I was done with this, I had blisters on my fingers from pushing down into the styrofoam and them sliding on in my hand as I was trying to push them into the styrofoam. So if you guys know of a better way, like I said, I've never done this before. If there's something better than the styrofoam for doing this, or if you guys have tips for me for the next time to make this a little bit easier, man, would I ever appreciate it. Because this took me a long time to get done. Now, am I happy with how it turned out? I'm very happy with how it turned out, but it took some time. Let me tell you, it took a lot of time to get done, for sure. I love those black flowers with the silver on the edges. They're so pretty. Loved them. And to be honest with you, I actually think they're supposed to be a black poinsettia for Christmas because, of course, there was no Halloween out, but there was a ton of Christmas out. So I ended up having to shop in the Christmas aisle for my Halloween design, even though I'm doing this on October 9th, or, so there's still plenty of time before Halloween, and it's all Christmas. They had no Halloween foliage. It was all Christmas foliage. So all of this is Christmas and wedding foliage that I was able to finally get. So I had to be creative with what I could find. And I got a whole bunch of ribbon, bunches and bunches of ribbon actually, and they actually did have some Halloween ribbon still, and they had these, and that you can't really see them. You probably could see them in the picture at the beginning of the video, but they had a bunch of ribbons that were cut already and in a package that were like black and white and green and orange and all of the different Halloween colors. I think there were some purples in there. And so I just bought that bunch of ribbon. It was like 50% off since I guess we were at the end of Halloween and they're trying to get rid of it. I don't know. But I bought that, and I ended up not even using but just one of the ribbons because I was happy without the ribbons. I was thinking of maybe putting some of the ribbons on picks and having them be a part of the arrangement. And I think that with the checkerboard picks that I put in there, those curly fabric picks, I think that between those and the white balls there, I think that it had enough contrast that it looks okay without the additional ribbon that I had gotten for it. So yeah, and here I sliced my finger open trying to shove picks down inside there. So I got cut with one of the picks somehow. Don't ask me how, but I did. I didn't realize that flower arranging was such a dangerous activity. until I did this. So be careful. And I had even set up my hot glue gun because I didn't know if I was going to need my hot glue gun while I was doing this. Luckily, I didn't end up needing it, but I use it later, and you'll see here. So I was glad that I had it plugged in. But I did notice that as I'm doing this flower arrangement, and you'll see that cord that it keeps catching on right there, that is my video camera cord. And those are the lights that wrap around all my gem shores and everything that are up on my shelves right there. And I didn't realize until later in the process, I should say, not like after I did this video, because I did finally figure out that it was catching on everything. And I had to rearrange my lights and my cords up there because it kept pulling everything, and I was afraid I was going to knock my gem shores over. By doing that, you can still see that it's kind of catching in the lights there that are on my, wrapped around my gem shores up there. So I was having to be really careful, and at one point the cord to my video camera actually fell down and was sitting on my glue gun. I don't know if I think maybe I cut that part out, so you probably won't see that, but it was actually sitting on the tip of my glue gun. And how it didn't melt the cord, I don't know, but I got lucky and it didn't melt the cord. So be careful when you have your glue gun plugged in and hot, that you're not putting cords and anything else that could possibly be destroyed by it. Now this here is just a light pick. It's supposed to look like a tree branch, I guess. See, there I am pulling the lights out of the arrangement again. But I thought that little bit of wood or branches inside there helped with the Halloween effect that it had, and then it also had the lights already strung on it, and so I just spread it out as best I could through the arrangement. And you see me trying to push it in because it is actually taller than the arrangement, so I ended up having to bend it down in quite a few places to make it really fit inside. You can see me messing around with all of it. Now I'm just kind of making it all look pretty here. And I'm really happy with how this all turned out. I'm especially considering that this is all Christmas and wedding arrangement, florals, I guess you would say, floral picks. I don't know, you people who know how to do flower arranging, y'all have to let me know. Are they called floral picks? I don't know. And I'm just trying to make sure too that the poinsettias, the petals for the poinsettias are pulled out, and that the curly checkerboard picks are twisted and spread out as well, so that they're kind of throughout the arrangement. Here's where I'm going to put my Haunted Mansion sign. I did print that on my 3D printer, and I'm just trying to decide where I wanted to put it on the arrangement. And this is where I decided to put it, was right there in that front area. And let me tell you that by the time I finished this, my floor was a mess. It was covered in floral picks and all kinds of stuff. And here is the finished project, and there you see it. I just love it, you guys. And here it is, all lit up and in my living room.
Well guys, that's it. There it is. Now after I shot the video, I did decide that I didn't like that the plaque, the Haunted Mansion plaque, was quite so flat. So I did take like a whitewash and I washed it over the top of the plaque. I think that it makes the words and the plaque itself stand out a little bit more and look like it has a little bit more depth to it. So I did do that as well. And I don't know if you could see the ribbon that I used around it. It's just a basic striped ribbon, that's it. but I am so happy with how this turned out. So excited. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I want to thank the Sisketears for inviting me to this collaboration. I almost said swap. We're not swapping. This collaboration. I so enjoy being part of their collabs. They have the best collabs and they're so much fun. And then I get things like this. Hello. I know I went a little bit out of the box. Let me know, you guys. Does it qualify? I hope so, because I'm really, really happy with it. So don't forget, again, you guys, please go down below, watch everybody else, leave me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Would you have done something different? Should I have done something different? Should I have done a different theme? I'm actually really happy with it. I kind of started out thinking I might go Jack Skeleton-ish, and I was going to try to put this skull inside there. You probably saw in the video, the skull didn't work. It didn't look right. So I decided not to put it in, and I just set it to the side. That's fine. I'm okay with that. It actually has a, there, see, you can kind of see there. I need to set it outside for a little bit. Ooh, Scary Teddy, he's falling. Oh, now he kicked over his pumpkin. Scary Teddy was going to take a nosedive right there. But, my goodness. So I was going to put the skull inside the arrangement, and it just didn't look right. It looked like it was literally just kind of dropped in the center of the arrangement, so decided not to do that. So instead I went with this Haunted Mansion plaque. I did print this with my 3D printer, and I have it just, as you saw, attached it with glue. So that is it, you guys. Again, go down below, go see what everybody else has done, and make sure you go and visit the Sisketears because they are the leader in the pumpkin carving business. And I want to thank everybody for coming, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye, everybody.